Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Welcome to the very first episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Frankie Corcoran, and we are coming to you virtually today due to the rising COVID-19 cases here in New Brunswick that continues to grow at an alarming rate. We figured this would be the best and the safest way to do the show temporarily anyway. We hope to do some in-person episodes as the cases start to go down, but you know what, that's not why we're here. We're not here to discuss COVID. We're here to just shut our brain off and just talk about what's new in the entertainment world today. So just a couple of housekeeping items. So there's going to be an audio version of this and a video version of this. So whether you're a visual person and you like to actually see something instead of just listen to it, or if you're like me and you like to listen to podcasts while you're driving or you're cleaning around the house or doing whatever, there will be two options for you. So just whatever suits you best. Our guest today will be very good friend of mine and someone who is no stranger to any local community theater patrons here in the Miramichi, and that is none other than Mr. Jansen Blacquier, who some of you may know from the Miramichi Valley High School Drama Club and CM Productions, and also the Heritage Players. And he's here today to discuss his very impressive theater resume, and also to discuss what's new in the entertainment world, in particular, who is the best Spider-Man, the best live-action Spider-Man. This will also contain major spoilers for anyone who has not been caught up on the Marvel movies yet, from up to the recently released Spider-Man No Way Home. And also, we're going to discuss the recent and sudden tragic passing of America's TV dad, Bob Saget, Danny Tanner, of course, from Full House. Bob Saget passed away Sunday, January 9th. Very shocking for all of us. Really feels like I lost a family member. It really has. I remember watching Full House from back when I was, oh gosh, now. I can't even remember now. But yeah, so we will discuss more of that at length. And yeah, so hopefully, thank you all for joining us here today. Hopefully you enjoy yourselves. And if you're listening to this while driving, well, just watch the road because they're icy. And yeah, I mean, even if it wasn't snowing out, still pay attention to the roads because, I don't think I need to explain that. And I don't know where I'm going with this. So I'm going to shut up and let's just roll the intro and get this show on the road. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is very good to be here on this gorgeous, cold Thursday night. So welcome to the pilot episode of the Corcoran Entertainment Show. And we are thrilled to introduce our first guest. As I said previously, he is very well known to local community theater patrons. You may have seen him in productions from the Miramichi Valley High School Drama Club, CM Productions, the Heritage Players, and he's also, I forgot to mention this in the intro, he's partaking in the first Corcoran Entertainment production, the Evening of One Acts.
Yeah.
Jansen Blacquier, welcome to the show, buddy. It's great to have you on.
Hey, thanks for having me on, Frank. It's just an honor, man. I'm so glad you got me on for the first episode, and God, well,
this is great. I can just feel the energy. For those of you who don't know Jansen as well as I do, the energy off this man, I'm always astonished by it. Like I can just feel it. I can feel it through my computer screen, man. It's truly something. So tell me a little bit. I mean, so I'll give you guys a little bit of background. I've known Jansen for, geez, I'm trying to think how long I've known you now. About maybe 5 years.
Pretty much, yeah.
So just tell us a little bit. I mean, for people who know you or have seen you in shows, how'd you get started in theater? Like, when did you start? And just tell us a bit about yourself. We want to know about you.
Right. Well, hey everyone. I guess for me, when it comes to theater, I started back. My first ever show I ever was a part of was back in grade 2 at the long but not forgotten Harkins Elementary.
Oh boy.
Just played a small little role in as just Santa Claus in one of the plays. You know, just a nice start. And then
He's no
after
Tim
that,
Allen, but
oh man, absolutely not. But after that, I got involved with a little group with my grandfather. Actually, it was we went down an hour drive every Monday night to a little church, and we would do something called the Sunbrook Singers, where a bunch of him and his old friends, and we'd all get down and sing a bunch of old folk songs. And it was a big dinner theater that would happen around November. And God, it was great. It was great exposure. It was like just everything I ever wanted. And God, I got my charisma from somewhere, eh?
no, well, there you go. Shout out to Dewey. Dewey, if you're listening to this right now.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't be here without him. So
No,
if he
absolutely.
ever figures out how to get this, then absolutely.
And then you also played one of the hyenas in The Lion King, did you? And
right.
yeah,
you're right. Yeah. So probably my first exposure to like modern, like more professional theater was through JMH's The Lion King. Well, you know, I auditioned back in my grade 8 year, and well, I got cast as Ed the Hyena in The Lion King. So not a single actual line to me, but God, I had so much fun. It was great memories. Getting to act with Jack Forrest and Justin and Abby Pino and all those. It was great. It just fueled my just fueled everything that came forward through MV. And well, God, grade 9, it was good to me. I had that my first role at MVHS with Moonface Martin and Cole Porter's Anything Goes. And God, it's a phenomenal show. Like the cast had so much chemistry, helped me get introduced to everything. And man, it was lovely. And well, actually, speaking of Anything Goes, that's exactly the first show.
True. Small little Stan Lee cameo in there that I.
You're right.
That's the best way to put it.
Oh yeah, I'm done with theater, but
like you have racked up quite the resume, though. I mean, like, you know, Sound of Music, Mary Poppins, Oklahoma. Like, you know,
absolutely.
Is there anyone in particular that's like your number one favorite, or is it hard to choose one? Just God, there's so many.
I've been my mom has always asked me that, and well, to me, Bert from Mary Poppins was a dream role of mine.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, like it.
Love that one. Love that one.
It was so good. It was lively. I loved working with Lauren and
shout out to Lauren McCabe if you're listening to this.
Absolutely. But however, despite that, I love that show. Like, it's going to be in my heart forever. My favorite role I ever did was Will Parker in Oklahoma.
Oh, yes, man. Yes, man. That is absolutely that. I love that one so much.
With Will, it was that fun of. It was so much fun being able to play this love-struck idiot who had like no insight into anything that was happening. And God, I took that to heart. I loved it. The cast was so fun to work with. Getting to work with actually a bunch of newcomers whenever it came on my end with Emily and Dave. But overall, it was like every single joke of mine landed. And if I thrive off of the reaction from the community. And God, whenever like every single line, no matter like it was an entrance, I was exiting, it was during a song, God, I loved it. And,
no, I love that one. And and that was another example of how you could feel the energy off you. Like it just poured out of you, man. Like it was so good. And it's funny because I was going to mention this too. We had actually seen Oklahoma in New York.
Oh yeah,
which was an interesting take on it for sure. Absolutely. I mean, which is funny for me because that was my first impression of Oklahoma. I had never watched it or anything before. The only thing I knew of was "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," which, I mean, who doesn't know that one? But that was my first impression of it too. And so I remember as soon as I heard that that's what the drama club was doing, I was like, "Oh, really? Is that what you're doing?" And then I was like, "Okay, this is what we should have saw in New York." But what would you give your if you had to give a review of that one? What would your review be if you were to be a critic right now? Roger Ebert here.
of the 2019 one we saw on Broadway?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Oh God. Now I thought the singing was great and I loved.
Oh my
I
God, beautiful.
loved
Ali
everything in it.
Stroker. Oh my God.
Oh God. Like I mean, I could listen to that soundtrack on repeat. It was gorgeous. And in concept, the idea of bringing it to a more like kind of modern setting and using those modern elements could be really interesting and good for storytelling. I'll be honest, I didn't dislike it as much as a lot of the other people on the trip. However, I do recognize a lot of the flaws, and of course, we have like the boots.
Oh
The
my
boots
God.
will always live in
The
my head,
hell
God,
was
man.
that? I literally.
So, for those who don't know, in Oklahoma is a very dance-filled show, and at one point, right before the second act hits, or in some shows after, like once it begins, there is a large dance sequence. They're essentially a dream sequence that Lori is having, and so we come back in, and lights off, like we're getting ready for the show to start, and in comes this woman, bright white sparkling t-shirt with "Dream Baby Dream" right on it, and God, already it was like absolutely shocking.
I was nauseous. It was like 20 minutes of her just right in the middle of the stage or whatever that was. That wasn't even really a stage. It was, like a little box almost. But I was getting so nauseous. It was just 20 minutes of just and not even music. They didn't even play music at one point. I'm like, oh my God. But it was an interesting take on it for sure, though. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then I think the pinnacle moment that's stuck in all of our heads is right in the middle. Like we're already like so confused of what's happening, and right from the center, like right from above, out drops a pair of boots, and then two more, and then 18 of them all just come down, spread across the floor, and I look over to somebody, and we're trying so hard not to lose it.
Lose it as in laugh, or lose it as in what the hell am I watching, and like
get up and leave? A little bit of both, you know.
Oh my God. Well, it was just great. Well, and then also too, we cannot forget the ending. Spoiler alert for anyone who doesn't know what happens in Oklahoma, but you know, it's whatever. The whole standoff at the end where Curly shoots Judd, and it looks almost like, I'm not gonna lie, I thought for a second I thought Curly got shot. The blood splatters back on his face, and then Judd does this little walk around, and then he just decides to just drop dead. And I was like, wait, what? So, I mean, well, of course, for me, since that's my first impression of Oklahoma, not having seen the movie or anything like that, I was just saying, like, what the hell am I doing? And then when I found out what they're doing, I'm like, what are you guys doing for a show? Like, this is, I don't know what you're talking about. But no, I gotta say though that you guys did it justice. You guys did the justice it deserved, and you are Will Parker, man. You really are. Like, really. For those of you who haven't seen it, I feel terrible for you. But no, that's
thank you for you flatter me.
No, my gosh, man. Well, and then one thing for sure I was going to say, because remember that show, Oklahoma, was what, like 3 hours long? And our favorite Broadway play was only about an hour and 30 minutes. It was too short, and that was, you know, of course, Come From Away. And I know there's lots of people around here who are talking about Come From Away. What can you tell us about your experience having seen that show? That one was just,
Well, not only Come From Away has a lot of, I guess, emotional resonance with me. Not only, you know, from the like maritime culture that it holds and everything like that, but it was my first Broadway show that I ever seen, right? And you come there with like an expectation, because all I heard about the show before going in is that it was about 9/11. And I thought it was going to be a very serious, very like somber type of show. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And when you get in there and everything starts, it's a smile lit up on my face the minute Welcome to the Rock began playing.
Oh, goosebumps, man. Goosebumps. Oh, it's so good.
And just, it's lively. It does respect to like the horrible, like it shows an entire side of the 9/11 tragedy that like I think is very not only like really important, just with like the amount of selflessness that was shown from the people of Gander and the like. It's such a horrible point in human history.
Oh God, yeah,
And yet,
absolutely.
and yet we still see like humanity and like hope shine through like the entire show. And God, it's wonderful. For anyone who hasn't seen it, especially as a maritimer, do it. Like, it's worth the trip just to get down there sometime, because God, it sticks with you. And
Absolutely, but it was so funny watching that in with an American audience, because you could tell who was Canadian and who wasn't. They're making all these references. Oh, we're gonna go down to Shappers, or we're gonna go to Tim's, and our whole crew is losing their minds. And like, I feel like some of the Americans were just thinking like, oh my God, is this what everyone in Canada is like? I'm never going down there.
No. It's just us. Holy.
Oh no, but and then I even hear of some people's like people saying in comments of like those like the posts come from white puts and stuff like that. Oh, this made me want to move to Canada. This made me want to do this. So the fact that you can get that kind of a reaction out of people, that's really something to be proud of, definitely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too, me and Jansen did a show together, Neil Simon's Biloxi Blues. I'm not sure if anybody have ever heard that, or anybody who has anybody locally, if you've seen it or you heard of it or whatever. I was gonna ask Jansen, what are some funny moments through your theater experience? But then as I was thinking that, there was one in particular in Biloxi Blues that I think, would you want to give that?
Oh, absolutely, Frank. I'll take it away. So, for reference in that show, I was brought on about midway through as just they needed a line four soldier and just as someone for back crew, right? Just making
Get those trays back on the table.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely, Frank. And so there's a certain scene that comes up, and so the whole show is set in the 1940s, and these boys are getting ready to go to war. And as like a ditch of freedom to get themselves, they all go to this prostitute, for lack of a better word. And Frankie's character in it does,
I had sex with the girl.
I didn't know if we're keeping this PG or not. Well, there we go.
Whatever, it's okay. We'll just say it. We'll just not beat around the bush. Nothing for real happened. It was all pretend. But
oh, of course. Yeah, no. God, we'd have a lot more complications if that was true. But anywho, to show this scene going through, Frankie eventually has to take out the shirt. And first 3 nights go smooth, like nothing bad happens. But this one night, I think it was 4th or 5th, and we reel the thing out, getting ready for the next scene. Frankie's shirt gets caught underneath the wheel of the thing, and we have to keep going. We can't stop the show for it. So here we are, Frankie shirtless in the back of the theater. And
well, luckily I had a tank top. I had a tank top, but you were the only soldier who didn't have a tank top. So that was the problem with this next story.
So with his scene coming up, and he's in his dorms, right? So he's not wearing something like overly like heavy or anything like that. He needs his tank top. And well, with him not having a shirt, I say, hey, you take mine. And I take it off and I shove it to him and make sure he has his seat going on for the scene. Now, it's all good and dandy, except for the fact in less than 5 minutes, I have to go out on stage and dance with one actor, Sam Loban. Thank God this never ended up happening, but God, just coming in shirtless, I'll be honest, I'm not quite pale, it's nothing, but coming in this nice formal dance, and God, I feared the day, what would happen is Frankie does a dramatic turnover to see his future love sitting there, and there am I,
with some
like,
drunk male prostitute.
God, yeah, it was. Oh, thankfully, somehow we were able to get it out without anybody noticing. Yeah, I got his shirt for the rest of the show. He held on to mine, and thank God we didn't have that on. Whew, one
And
of the
poor
biggest
Jansen,
scares
oh
I've
my
ever had
God.
in theater.
Because one thing about that stage is that with those lights and everything and the costume and the heavy equipment you're wearing, holy large, you sweat. And something you guys need to know, you guys know, I don't know about me, I sweat easily under that kind of pressure. So poor
Oh,
Jansen has to wear my
God.
shirt, which is like, you know, I think you even said to me, no offense, Frank, but you got sweaty arms.
Oh, yeah, that's
I
right.
said yes, or God, yes.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Oh my God. But that's one of those moments where it's like in the moment, you got to keep the show going. Those are the lengths that this man is willing to do just to keep a show going. Whether even if he was willing to go on stage without a shirt, like that's
Oh,
dedication right there, my friend.
Ooh, I don't
I
think
really admire
Madison would
that.
have me back after that. Holy.
No, yeah, that'd be it. Jansen's done. He's not doing anything
Yeah,
else,
no,
you know.
not at all.
Because Miramichi's
Oh,
a small town, so you know something like
right.
that, you know, that wouldn't go around very well. But speaking of Miramichi, one thing that I noticed with this town is that when you compare it to a city like Fredericton or Moncton or even in like Nova Scotia over that, we don't. It feels like we don't have as much theater. You know what I mean? Like around here, of course, we have like, you know, the MBHS Drama Club, CM Productions, River May Productions, the Heritage Players. They're still doing stuff, correct? Heritage Players, I believe.
Yes, I have. Yeah, I've done stuff with them before. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your opinion on? I'm like, you know, why is a city like Miramichi? How come compared to other cities? Why? It's kind of interesting because it's all around us in the province, but yet here seems to be kind of, we have all the people, we have all, you know, like the interest is there, but just for some reason it never seemed to
Stick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, it comes down to a lot of stuff, Frank, and I think there's a lot of things like financially. You'd know, theater is like, to get a good like theater company off the ground, you're going to need a venue, and venue costs money. Rights cost money. If you're doing like musicals, which really draw in crowds, those cost money. And it's for a small city like us in Miramichi, where, well, we're not exactly like the highest end of New Brunswick, but like you don't only need a like that money to get going and that sponsorship and like that support, but you also need to draw in the public's attention, right? And if like, I mean, we've seen it, we've done a lot of old-fashioned stuff from like Neil Simon,
like
and
Georges Kaufman or
exactly,
you know, yeah, exactly, yeah,
stuff that isn't exactly mainstream. And well, like sometimes like our good nights are like 100 people, like
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And then but sometimes it's 10, maybe 20, and there's a lot of things that come into it, but I think but overall it's just a shame that we can't get that more, because it brings so much liveliness to communities, right? Like well, I'm doing university down in St. John, and well, like I already went down to the Imperial Theater down there and saw Christmas Story just this year, and God, it brought me so much joy, and like everyone around us enjoyed it, and it's magical. And it's a shame that it's so hard getting that off the ground. And I'm so glad that you're finding your way through it. And it's like, I think it's going to do wonders for like drawing people to the river, and like just overall for like everyone. And
no, definitely. I mean, of course, it's nothing. I mean, like, you know, that's going to grow immediately. You know what I mean? I mean, like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. People say, oh, that's cliche. I'm like, no, it's true. Exactly. Rome wasn't built in a day. True. You know, you see how many people, I mean, like even like this podcast right here, we use, for example, look at Joe Rogan's first podcast. Joe Rogan started off in the exact same position that we were. Because I was even going back, I'm trying to think, like, how did people like him start off? He started off just like this, you know what I mean? So yeah, as long as you're committed and you're dedicated, you can make it make it happen. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. And it's that first step that's always the hardest. And from there, you just get to explore more and you get to do bigger things. And even though it's like kind of small right now with like two local friends on just talking about our theater experiences, I mean, who knows what it can grow to, Frank? And
no, exactly. Well, I mean, like, definitely with COVID and stuff like that too, it's definitely taken a big hit, but hopefully we keep saying that there's lighter days ahead, but I mean, we just got to be optimistic. But
there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And so Jansen actually is as I mentioned before, he is part of our Night of One Acts. Right. So what can you tell us about your character? Because I think one of the shows I put out the synopsis, House of Violations, revolving around a restaurant store manager who's laid off, whose wife is a COVID freak, and he invites his friends over to play poker. Who's your character in that? What can you tell us anything about?
Right. Well, I play one of the friends to the restaurant owner in this, and well, I play a cop, right? So it brings not only a very it brings in how the authorities have been involved within COVID and how they feel about it. It's a very nice side to see, especially considering everything. And but on top of that, he's a big jovial fella. He's very much, I wouldn't say the moral center of the group, but he's come on, boys, get back on track. We're here to play poker. Let's
almost like the peacemaker, almost, yeah.
Yeah,
there's always got to be someone like that in any group.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and
there's even a bit of hypocrisy in there because. Well, actually, with all the characters, because they're all talking about, nobody follows the rules, this and that. And yet here you are, especially a cop, someone who's supposed to be setting an example. Here you are. You know what I mean? So
right. Yeah, exactly.
So, so we're working away at that. We're hoping there's some release date stuff coming soon, but you guys can also expect to see Jansen in that. This man has not stopped with theater, and I hope that doesn't stop anytime soon. Are you stopping? Are you retiring?
Oh no, well,
okay, good. Funny
there you go. Well, funny enough, I'm also doing I'm auditioning for speaking of St. John and the theater company down there. I'm auditioning for Annie down there, and I'm really excited for that.
Yes, that's right. I almost forgot about that. Oh my god, that's awesome, dude!
Yeah, no, so that's exciting. Well, hopefully, good news comes of it, and well, yeah.
Wow, no, that's something. No, I mean, you're definitely very beloved in the theater world in New Brunswick. You know what I mean? So definitely keep that up. So we had a topic planned today, and I had ran it through with Jansen and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden we got the news, unfortunately, that Bob Saget passed away. And so this is where we will move on and discuss what's going on in the entertainment world, because Corcoran Entertainment, not only a theater company, but it is also this show. We will also discuss all kinds of entertainment. So from movies, TV, and what is more, I'm not sure what's more important today than Bob Saget. I mean, that was quite the shock. So what was your reaction when you heard about his passing?
Well, it's a shame. I got into, I found out about Bob Saget through, I think how most of us did, through Full House, right?
Yeah.
Danny Tanner.
Out.
Yeah. It was, I mean, he was, that show for me was a large aspect of my childhood, right? Watch it all throughout, I think grade 4 to grade 8, pretty much, watch through everything with my mom, my dad, and it's the staple family sitcom that everyone looks to now. And
no, absolutely. I mean, I'm seeing lots of people saying America just lost its dad. You know what I mean? And you say too, I mean, of course, there's America's Funniest Home Videos. That was where I first saw Bob. I first saw Bob Saget in America's Funniest Home Videos. And then I remember my sister was a Full House fan, a huge Full House fan. She had all the seasons on DVD. And I checked one of the boxes out one day and I said, that's the host of America's Funniest Home Videos. I think I must have it or something like that. And so I checked it out, and I was just hooked on it ever since. And Bob Saget really was a huge, inspiration. You know what I mean? He really was. And Is there anything else, any other projects that he did that you were a fan of, or
Man, it was. I think like with Bob Saget, at least from my end, I'm young enough to not truly like feel his like appreciation over the industry as much as someone like you would, Frank. But one thing I think always like it always gave me a laugh was from America's Funniest Home Videos. And there's one specific moment where I'm not sure even if you remember this, it was the one where he came on with the monkey.
Oh, geez, do I
The
remember
whole
that
thing,
one?
it was like, because every single one he had like the different entrance to begin America's Funniest Home Videos, and that one, it was not only just amazing to see like him like do something that like big,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
like
That
funny,
outrageous.
and it was like, man, it was just something where it was a man having fun, and for acting, for comedy, for it's something genuine that you love to see, no matter like if they're acting, if they're like anywhere, if they're up on stage, they're performing somewhere. If you can tell that whoever it is enjoying themselves, that they're having fun, that like they're at their fullest potential, then God, it brings you so much joy. And it's a shame we lost like someone like of that caliber. And I mean, yeah, it's just a shame. And
No, it's definitely,
it was,
well, I mean, like, especially when you see like his final Instagram post, which I'm not sure if you guys have read that. Basically, it was, I think, about 12 hours before he passed. It was would have been his last stand-up show. Did a selfie of him just saying, what a great time here. I think he was in Florida, I believe, was where he
yeah,
passed.
the
And
hotel,
just
yeah.
said, yeah, the tour's going great, this and that. And then, I couldn't even imagine.
So
Well,
fun.
the best part about it is that he died doing what he loved.
Very
Like, I mean,
true.
like, it's not like he died, living a life that he didn't want to live, or like, no, this was he was in his glory. He was in his
Yeah.
glory. He really was. And it's been really touching to see all the tributes that his fellow cast members are, even the Olsen twins. The Olsen
Right,
twins, I
yeah.
see, pointed out, like, whatever happened to them? I didn't even know that they
Yeah.
were, like, they kind of like walked off
God,
the face
yeah.
of the entertainment world. I mean, like, they reached out and
Right.
offered their condolences. And is there any particular moment in Full House with Bob Saget or Danny that really kind of stuck out
Oh
to you?
man.
Which
Oh.
we have to go through all 8 seasons just to find one in particular. But is there one that sticks
Oh.
out to you? Then
Well, I guess it's kind of fitting, but there's always been one episode of Full House that always stuck with me. And it's the one where Jesse's uncle, a grandfather, I think, comes in. Papui.
Papuli, yeah.
Papui, yeah, yeah, yeah. And he comes in, and it deals with death. It deals especially with young children, and because like um you get Michelle, who wants Papui to come in and for show and tell, and he doesn't show up because he passes away, and it's all too soon, it's all too sudden. And I think for me, like, not only is it fitting to what just happened with Bob Saget, but just how he condoles Michelle. And like it's a very mature subject matter that like I like that still stuck to me, well, to this day, right? And I
that
think,
episode in particular, like how people deal with grief their own ways. Like you see Jesse through the whole episode, and he's just on the
yeah,
phone. He's just on the phone, and they're like, "Oh, you need to just take a minute and just shut your brain off." No, no, no. I just, I need to do this. I need to do that. When that was one thing I always admired about Full House, and even like lots of shows from the '90s, like Fresh Prince of Bel Air, handled those
yeah,
issues very,
yeah,
very well. How come he don't want me, man?
Oh
Oh,
God, man. Tear my heart apart.
yeah,
Oh
oh
God.
my God, I'm like ripping. Oh no, there's my webcam. I just tore Jason's heart out with that saying. But I mean, yeah. I mean, like shows like that and the performances, like Bob
Oh,
Saget. I
man.
mean, like some people just see him as like a goofy kind of actor or whatever. But no, you see Full House. There's lots of moments there where it's one that stood out to me in particular in Full House was when him and Vicky broke up.
Oh,
Was
you're
Dev?
right.
I think of
Oh,
all 8 seasons, I think that was his best performance. I honestly do.
uh,
I mean, which I mean, it's kind of hard to pick just one, as I said, because he's
oh
done so
man, yeah.
much throughout the years. And even on Fuller House, I know. I mean, like I'd watch clips here and there. I never actually finished Fuller House. I watched the first season. It wasn't really for me. Did you watch all of Fuller House, or did
I,
you?
I was in the same boat. I watched all through the first season, but never really got more into that than like that's where it ended pretty much for me.
Because part of me was kind of like, oh man, like why are we really doing this again? Really? Like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
really
I get you.
working. But I
Freshen
mean,
it
like,
up some, yeah.
no, exactly. But kudos to them for actually, going that far with it and giving us something. And yeah, so I mean, I'm trying to think if there was one Fuller House moment. I remember because I see so many clips scattered all throughout online of Fuller House, just because that's just me saying I don't want to watch 4 more seasons of it if I'm not into it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah,
But
absolutely, yeah.
definitely. But also recently, I have been watching a little bit of Full House again, just ever since we heard of Bob's passing. And but no, I mean, like like I said, so Full House, AFE. Have you ever seen his stand up specials?
I never actually got into Bob Saget's actual stand-up, remarkably.
Oh my God. Like it's so because you're like, oh, Bob Saget, oh, the guy from Full House, the dad from Full House. Oh, this is gonna be
Yeah.
really, really cute. And then he comes on, F you, blah, 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 blah. Like, you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
and
Oh,
some of it, and
absolutely.
there's some comedians where all they do is just drop F bomb, F bomb, F bomb, and
Right.
they rely on just that to get a laugh. But with Bob Saget, I feel like he had that way of saying the F word over and over and over again. But the way his jokes were worded, or how they were said, something about it was like, okay, this works. This doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel. I might be in the minority on that, but I mean, everyone's entitled to
Yeah.
their own opinion. But
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
trying to think if there's anything else from Bob Saget, because I mean, my gosh, if you go on his IMDb, it's like a novel. You could
God,
you could
yeah.
write a novel on it. Like, oh my gosh. So I mean, like when you think about people like that, who were 65, as opposed to someone like Betty White, you know what I mean?
Oh man, Betty White.
That was
God,
quite the
man.
shocker too.
God, what a gut punch right before the new year. And I mean, like Golden Girls, like she was a Golden Girl. Like she
No,
was,
exactly. And
yeah.
that's the thing about it, where I'm like, of course it's sad. It's really, really sad. But the woman was 99. Like, she lived a full life. I mean, like, if it was someone who passed away, like Paul Walker passed away at 40 years old, that's like, okay, that's way too young. Bob
Or even
Saget,
like the late Chadwick Boseman, right? And
yes. Oh my God. Thank you. 40, what's he, 43, 42 or something like that, I heard. But
it's a shame.
he
Yeah,
was
a
young.
lot
He
of
was young.
yeah,
Yeah.
it
But I
was.
mean, like, you look at Betty White, and of course it's sad, but she was 99. You can't say she didn't live her life to the fullest. You know what I mean? But someone like Bob Saget, he's only 65. Party is like,
Right.
he had a lot more left. Like, you know what I mean? Like, from what
Absolutely.
from what you hear, it was like he loved doing what he did, and like he could have just kept doing this for another 10 or so years. But
And I
it's
think what was most like shocking of it all was just the like circumstances. It was like it wasn't like anything like a drug overdose. It wasn't anything like, as far as I'm aware, it was it when I first read it, it was there was no they said there was no foul play, there was nothing like that.
nothing like
And
that. Yeah.
it just happened.
Just
And
happened.
it
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's why I remember, I can remember who texted it to us, said, hey, Danny Tanner's dead. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, it's one of those ones where it's like, or also when Chadwick Boseman died, I'm like, no, he's not. No, he's not dead. Like, and then I looked it up. I'm like, oh my God, it's true. So I mean, like, that's a good reminder that life's short, and you just gotta live it to the fullest, and you just got those memories to look back at. You know what I mean? Like, we'll always have Full House, and
Absolutely.
we'll always have AFE, and so yeah, rest in peace, Bob Saget. 1956, I believe I memorized that. Yeah, 1956 to 2022. So yeah, on a lighter note, let's move on to our second topic today, which is who is the best live action Spider-Man? So by
Oh,
the way,
here we
spoiler
go.
warning. I think I put this in the intro. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, which, what the hell are you doing? Get out and see it. It's incredible.
All right.
I even picked this topic and I said, wait, Jansen, you saw No Way Home, right?
Oh,
Oh yeah. I was like, okay, shit.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's one of those movies that you do not want to get spoiled. So
absolutely. God, that it came out for me during exam period, right?
Screw your exams, just quit school.
Oh my God, it was like I was so paranoid I was gonna hop on Instagram or Facebook one day, and then it was just going to be all done. I'm like, oh God,
damn
God
it.
damn it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, oh geez, that was the most painful week of my life, just trying to, hey, I'm gonna go see what so and so said on Snapchat. Oh no, I think he's going to see No Way Home tonight, and I'm not seeing him tomorrow. Okay, I'm not going to talk to him forever. So I think I probably lost about 80% of my friends during that whole week, and I'm still working on. I'm still working on getting the back. I just got Jansen back as a friend now.
Oh man, absolutely. Been on rocky terms ever since.
Exactly. But no, what a movie! What a movie No Way Home was, and seeing all three Spider-Man together, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland, that now it's really begging a question. I'm seeing a lot of mixed opinions. It's Tom Holland, it's Tobey Maguire. What's your opinion and what's your reasoning on it?
I'm first gonna say that Spider-Man was a huge part of my childhood. Like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was like everything to me as a kid. I had action figures. I had I watched the movies over and over again. Funny enough, you know the song "Dream On" by Steven Tyler.
Oh, "Stream On" by Steven Tyler.
Yeah, you know he has the high note. It's a real great song. Anyway, but it starts all like as a small child. My mom's a big fan of Aerosmith, so what ended up happening is I used to call it the Green Goblin song based off Willem Dafoe, and it was it's one of the funny things.
Sing it for me.
Oh man! Oh God! No, my vocal range is not that of Steve.
Dude, you're Will Parker. You were Will in Oklahoma. What do you mean you can't sing? Give us a little something. Give us a little accent.
Oh God, Frank. Ooh, maybe next time. Yeah.
Next time. Yeah, there we go. This episode will be split into 2 parts. That next part will be released in like a few weeks.
Oh God, yeah. But overall, so of course, like Tobey Maguire was a big part of my childhood, and then growing up, we got the movies with Andrew Garfield, which loved Amazing Spider-Man. I think
love that movie. Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man still holds up in my eyes. Second one is a little iffy, but and then you have Tom Holland who came out strong, hitting strong with Civil War. First he was introduced.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
And God, he was loved from the minute he got on board, and then he had the movies. And I personally love Tom Holland in all of them. Saying which is the best. I want to hear your opinion first, Frank.
My opinion. Oh wow, which I actually had to think. I had to think long and hard about this because for a while, even after Tom Holland had taken over some of that, Andrew Garfield was still my favorite. Ooh. It was which was very unique. People, what do you mean Andrew Garfield's your favorite? Have you seen his movies? His movies don't affect the performance. That's right. What a lot of people seem to forget. I've even heard some people say Tobey Maguire is the worst Spider-Man because Spider-Man 3 is the worst comic movie. No. That doesn't take away, you know what I mean? You can say a movie sucks. I mean, how we criticized Oklahoma on Broadway. Right. The play might not have been the best in our opinion, but you can't say that the performances were terrible. Oh, and that's where I stand on the whole Andrew Garfield thing. So, well, of course, right. I'll kind of backtrack the same way you did. So the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was the first one is awesome. Willem Dafoe
Yep.
is still the best villain in all of them. I can
Yep.
easily say that.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah,
I think
that's
gonna be the
that'll be a
thing
contest.
here.
Oh yeah, fight me on that. Fight me
Ooh.
on that. After you see No Way Home, you're gonna know Willem Dafoe is the best Spider-Man villain, I think.
Okay, now we're talking about No Way Home, Willem Dafoe. Holy
No Way
hell,
Home, Willem Dafoe. Oh my God. Which, first of all, I know this might be going a little bit off topic, but Willem Dafoe for Joker. Willem Dafoe for Joker. You heard it here.
Oh man.
Please make that happen. Please make that happen.
Um,
And then of course Sam Raimi Spider-Man 2 with Alfred Molina. Oh wow. That was almost
right
that
there.
got me there, seeing him in
Alfred
No Way Home
Molina.
again. Wow. And so that one there I think was the best Spider-Man movie for some people say it still is the best Spider-Man movie. So I mean, like, that's debatable. For me, it's definitely still up there. But and then of course Spider-Man 3, which it's watchable. I mean, like, don't get me wrong, it's on Netflix. I go back and watch it and I still enjoy it. But I mean, of course, when you look at it, it's like, oh,
you got the two bangers, and then you got Bully Maguire right after.
Bully Maguire.
Oh,
I missed the part where that's my problem.
God,
and then of course it got rebooted with Andrew Garfield. And up until No Way Home, my favorite Spider-Man movie was, actually, unpopular opinion, Amazing Spider-Man 1, which a lot of people didn't understand that. And I'm like, it just is. It's just it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. Amazing Spider-Man 2 is, I'm in the minority. I like it better than Spider-Man 3. I like,
really?
Okay.
Wow,
I should just title this episode Unpopular Opinions.
Just controversial.
Controversial, exactly. This is the first episode. I think people hate us already.
Oh man, absolutely.
But I mean, of course, you look at like Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. Like, what amazing chemistry they had. You can't deny that.
I can't complain there. Holy hell!
Like, don't get me wrong. Tom Holland and Zendaya, they got amazing chemistry. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst. Good chemistry. I'll just say good chemistry. Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, every time they would have like an argument or disagreement, I was like, my mom and dad are fighting. It feels like mom and dad are fighting. That's what it feels like. It just felt so natural. And then going on with Tom Holland, of course, Civil War. Civil War is a great movie, and he wasn't in it that much, but he was still, I think he did a great job in it.
Yeah, what a great start. Yeah.
Homecoming, I liked a lot. I did like Homecoming.
I did really like Homecoming.
I really enjoyed Homecoming. Yeah. Which another unpopular opinion, I like Amazing Spider-Man 2 more than Homecoming, but that's just me.
Whoa!
Because then Far From Home is better than both of them. Oh, and then of course,
yes. Far From Home. Well, if we're talking about Mysterio, already I love the concept of Mysterio. I love illusions. I love all that stuff. And how Jake Gyllenhaal was in No Way Home, because I thought they were going to give him full powers. I legitimately thought from the trailer.
No, exactly.
And
yeah.
when I saw it was like legitimately like the illusions, it was like he was an actor, just like how he was in the comics. And I thought that was brilliant. It was great.
Very brilliantly done. I love that.
Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio is probably he probably is my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh, which you're not wrong. That is he was, well, especially because it I mean, like, of course people who read the comics know it was probably going to come. But then of course there's some people who maybe didn't read the comics and think, he's just another buddy for Spider-Man and they're going to team up together, and then boom, no, he betrays him. But
well, a little thing, like, just because it's in my head and I always wanted to talk about this, I still think it's remarkably funny. Just the fact that Mysterio came up in like Far From Home, Mysterio came up with a lie about the multiverse without actually knowing about the multiverse.
He predicted 2021.
Yeah, exactly. Like, God, it was so funny. And like, I don't know, it's a little oversight. Like, they kind of backed themselves in a hole with it, but overall.
But hey, here we are. We got the best Spider-Man movie, this past month. But yeah. So but yeah, Far From Home I like better than Homecoming. I just saw it got better and better. And of course, I'm missing Infinity War and Endgame. But I mean, like, those are two. You can't. It's hard to compete with those. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So like, if we're just talking about like the solo Spider-Man movies. And then No Way Home, it was just Tom. My only problem I ever had with Tom Holland's Spider-Man well, I mean, first of all, he was the perfect blend of Peter Parker and Spider-Man. I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
I
like
agree.
it was the perfect blend. What I never liked is that he was basically just Iron Boy.
Oh,
I
interesting.
did not like that at all, because the
Hmm.
Homecoming is okay,
Right.
so Mr. Tony Stark is, Iron Man is going to be, like his mentor almost. And then of course Tony's dead in Endgame, and then come time for Far From Home, and it's almost like Nick Fury takes that over. Oh, Nick Fury is, going to be
Or
like,
yeah, or
keeping him in check. And
even
then
Mysterio, right?
and
Like
yeah,
I'd
and
say like the
Mysterio,
first
or
ones,
even
yeah.
Happy to an extent. Happy was also kind of a
Yeah,
good
very
good mentor
true.
to him. And then No Way Home, it would have been Doctor Strange. Oh, like almost like the mentor type role. I always wanted to see, like, in the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield movies, where he
Mm,
just stood on his own. Nobody was his
right.
mentor. He was his mentor. That was what I always wanted to see, and that always irked me about Tom Holland's. Nothing against his
Interesting.
performance. His performance,
Right.
No Way Home, some people say is Oscar worthy, which I'm not going to say it is, but
Well,
I
to be
think.
fair, we got a long time
Oh, we got a long
for it.
time, absolutely. But I mean, I think
Yeah.
one people are some things people are forgetting is that the Oscars. Yeah, this might be a discussion for another time. But basically, what I will
Yeah,
say
I
is
think we're
Tom
getting
Holland's
into the
performance, if you compare it to other performances earlier this year, does it really hold up? Like that's anyway.
it's
That's kind of a.
yeah, it's a good like thing, and we may be able to come back to it.
Because
But
remember, after Endgame, Robert Downey Jr., that was a big thing. People were pushing for his Oscar nomination, and he was just like, "No, I don't want one," because like he was just being very humble about it. Um,
well, I guess on like with your thinking behind Tom Holland, I've always more kind of justified him being like with the whole mentor thing. Mainly because I think it's a side of Spider-Man that we never got to see in the Sam Raimi or the Andrew Garfield. Mainly because, well, like of course they followed the very like structurally they were more similar to like every other Spider-Man, right?
yeah,
You have the Uncle Ben, you have the like great power comes great responsibility, and
which in No Way Home was Aunt May gives it to him before he
right,
dies,
yeah,
which was a nice change. I like that.
yeah, it was really nice, and but I think it was a side of Spider-Man that we never got to see, and even still, especially at the, like I think one of the most powerful moments from Homecoming is whenever he pushes through the building after like Tony Stark taken away his suit.
Yeah,
He goes to confront Vulture on his own, and anywho, he's like crying out for help, and I think I think Tom was able to show the vulnerability of not only Spider-Man but of Peter Parker, and especially because he is a kid, and that's one I wouldn't say problem I have with Andrew Garfield, but more like as Andrew Garfield, it didn't feel like whenever he was playing Peter Parker, it wasn't that you didn't feel, I guess, like he wasn't really an outcast in the like staple way, like
yeah,
with yeah, um, he was like for the stuff that he was bullied for, it didn't really feel as like justified when like I guess it was. I love the vulnerability that was brought by Tom Holland to both sides of Spider-Man, and I
no,
think that
definitely,
is
yeah.
really important, especially as a kid. Um, I do think the strength of Andrew Garfield. You've already addressed the chemistry with Emma Stone because God,
Mom and
there is
Dad,
like
stop doing that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just
yeah,
like, oh my
I
god, like
mean
it's just so good. It's so believable.
absolutely, and I think that's really strong, and I think I also think that what both of them do really good is also show the brainy side of Spider-Man. Just the
Oh
fact that,
yes, absolutely, absolutely. That's actually a really
just
good
the
point. I never
fact,
actually.
yeah, like because he is a brilliant kid, like,
Yeah, exactly. I
and
mean, he might just be a kid, but no, he's very knowledgeable. Like he really is
right,
in all this stuff.
he made his own web fluid. Like, and I do like that, and I think that's something that I miss at least a little bit in the with Tobey Maguire. Like it is like an aspect of Spider-Man that I do really appreciate, and like to be fair, it's not a necessary thing. Hence, is you
No,
got the iconic
absolutely
scene.
not.
Go.
Absolutely not. But I mean, for those of you who read the comics, of course, it's comic accurate, like Tom Holland's. I mean, like, when he starts off as a kid and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely it. I mean, like, of all the Spider-Man movies, what is your favorite? Like, what would you?
Now it's I've had this up to debate. It would either be between Spider-Man 2, because Albert Molina, I love him. I love
Brilliant actor, brilliant.
Like, not only he was on Broadway with like Fiddler on the Roof, and like God,
yes,
I think he played like the struggling. I think Otto Octavius is one of the most interesting like members of Spider-Man's rogue gallery, just because of his like inner conflict, and I love how they address that in at least somewhat in No Way Home.
No, exactly. And I do love, because I remember at first I was kind of worried. I'm like, are they gonna kill him? Are they gonna do this? And no, they brought him back and sent him back to his universe. And I really, really like that. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, like, as I said, I mean, like, of course, your favorite Spider-Man movie, the quality of the movie doesn't necessarily impact the performance, but I mean, like, from your opinion, I mean, like, does it kind of, I mean, like, when you look at your favorite Spider-Man movie, you're like, okay, is that my favorite Spider-Man? Or
in the end, I'd say my favorite Spider-Man movie is Spider-Man 2. However, I would have to say Tom Holland is my favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, well, there we go.
I do. I like his. I think he makes a great young Peter. I think he's going to make a great older Peter after and I respect him a lot for this. Like, I think he's taking a break.
Oh, is that true? Is that, yeah? Because I hear things back and forth, like he's taking a break, and then, oh no, I'm coming back. It's kind of hard to. I mean, like, in a world where Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are. Am I in No Way Home? Am I in this? Am I in that? Like, you know what I mean? So nowadays I can never, well, it's Tom Holland we're talking about here. The dude is the worst for spoilers. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe he.
Oh man, boy, he's never going to live that down.
It's kind of hard to say. So, tell us what Spider-Man 4. And then, like, I don't know, he could say something like, I die in that movie, or I don't know, like, he just, like, you just never know. Like, I feel like Kevin Feige is like, has a sniper bullet on him, or he has a scope on him.
Oh,
like,
God, yeah.
Don't
it's
you
either
say
that or
anything.
Benedict Cumberbatch, just like.
That's what I love about all the interviews. Benedict Cumberbatch is always nearby, and he's just like, oh yeah, oh no, I'll answer that. Don't worry.
yep.
There's always gonna be someone to do
covering the mouth. Oh, that's great.
But I do like that. That's your opinion, kind of thing. So, like, Spider-Man 2 is your favorite with Sam Raimi, but Tom Holland's your favorite Spider-Man, which that's definitely, which is good, because a lot of people do let the quality of a movie impact their choice. You know what I mean? They could say, maybe Ben Affleck was their favorite Batman. Right. But they hated Batman versus Superman, or, like, you know what I mean? Right. So, like, I don't like Batman versus Superman, but because Ben Affleck's in it, then yeah, it's my favorite Batman. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of
right. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, an opinion is an opinion, but I mean, But for me, I'm gonna say Andrew Garfield, favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, still keeping with Andrew
Garfield.
Still keep with
Andrew Garfield, right, especially after No Way Home.
I absolutely respect it, man. Yeah.
Especially after No Way Home. Like, it was just seeing, especially seeing all three of them there together.
Yeah.
It was just,
they had phenomenal chemistry. Wow.
Like, talking about the web, that scene where they're on the Empire State Building, and they're just talking about the web fluid. Does it come out of your wrists, or does it come out of anywhere else? Like, it's just part of me is just singing, like, I feel like they were just talking behind the scenes. And Kevin Feige's like, we got to film this. I think this is gold. It's one of those moments where it just felt so, but I think No Way Home is going to be my favorite Spider-Man movie, I'll say.
Ooh, I mean, I can't blame you, man.
It took me weeks to decide that. I swear, I was like, I don't want to let the fan service dictate my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
don't
Oh,
want it to
yeah,
be,
because there is a
because
lot of that in there.
no,
But
exactly.
like,
Because I mean, like, I'm not going to say the movie could have been here. This would be another interesting topic we could talk about. If Andrew
oh,
Garfield and Tobey Maguire weren't in No Way Home, would it still have been as good as people say it is?
ooh,
That's what I
that is
wonder.
a loaded question.
Like, wow. I mean,
Because I'll be honest, whenever I first when I heard like the rumors, like, oh yeah, they got the Spider-Man villains back, and everyone was hyping up, oh yeah, it's gonna be like they're gonna put Toby in it, and they're gonna put Andrew in it, and
even though nobody from the studio ever even alluded to it,
right.
it was
My
just
biggest,
total
yeah,
speculation.
that was my biggest worry. I didn't want to get my hopes up because I like nothing official came out until like a few slips ended up passing through. Like, I'm not sure if you ever saw them, but there was one. It was well, there was this there was the Mexico trailer for No Way Home, where you know the scene where they're all like, it's, I think it was like right at the end whenever they're like, it's Sandman, Lizard, and
Oh, and they're jumping
Electro.
towards them, and
Yeah,
Lizard goes,
gets punched. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there was
I
stuff
remember
like
that.
that. Like,
I guarantee you $100 somebody got fired for that.
oh God, yeah. And then apparently on Cineplex, like when the like a few weeks before the movie released, they accidentally put Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in the cast list.
Yes, yes, that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, or I still remember the big leak. It was a YouTuber, John Campia, who I love. I love John Campia. I'm not sure if you heard of John Campia. Love
No,
that
I
guy. He's a
haven't.
real. So basically, someone sent him these images of Toby, Andrew, and Tom in No Way Home. And so people would
Oh,
send him stuff all the time and they would never be real. And so he's like, okay, he took one look at it and said, okay, this is fake. This is clearly fake, but it looks really
yeah.
good. So he put his watermark on it and posted it on Twitter. And then I think like 10 minutes later, a studio rep called him and said, no, those are real. And he's like, oh, well,
shoot.
shoot.
So yeah,
Like, so I mean, that was a total, like, we're also kind of like, okay, well, it's not really a spoiler. We kind of knew Toby and Andrew were going to be in it in some way, shape, or form, but
yeah, I mean that, like, God, that's crazy.
that's,
Man.
oh my God. Well, part of me's like, thank you, John. Thank you for confirming that for us. Because that's, like, just that's, I'm like, okay, I can go into the
Wow.
movie. You know what I mean? But
Right.
so yeah, I mean, so your favorite Spider-Man, Tom Holland. Mine's Andrew Garfield still. Poor
Yep.
Toby is out left in the cold on this one.
Oh man.
If we had a third guest, maybe someone could have vouched
Oh
for him.
yeah.
But nothing against
Have
Toby. I had
the
to say Toby is, please come back and do Spider-Man 4. It's all I can say. Not that he's ever gonna watch this, but like, please, Spider-Man 4 and Amazing Spider-Man
this
3.
ends up on with a response from Tobey Maguire.
Can you imagine? No, Bully Maguire. Imagine if Bully Maguire sent us something
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
Like,
Oh.
but so yeah, so Jansen votes Tom Holland. I vote Andrew Garfield. And so the question goes to all of you guys watching. Feel free, if you're watching this on wherever you're watching it, Instagram or well, this isn't going to be on Instagram, but you can comment on Instagram, whatever. Who's your favorite Spider-Man? Maybe we'll do a poll or something like that. I don't know. We can see if that's a thing. Do a Facebook poll or something like that. But so yeah, Tom Holland 1, Andrew Garfield 1, Tobey Maguire 0. Nothing against you, Toby. You're the best. So yeah, I think that'll do it up for this one here. This was our pilot episode. And this was a lot of fun, man. Jansen, thank you so much for coming on. Any final words before we sign off here?
Thanks for having me, Frank. I'm really excited to see where this goes. And well, I know, just like everyone, live life to the fullest and enjoy it, right?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, buddy.
Oh, man, but yeah, it's been great. This was fun. It was real fun. I can't wait to see what you do next, Frank. And well, anyone who's out there who's coming up, get your tickets for our Frank show once he gets those dates.
No, exactly, which will be confirmed sometime within the next little while. So stay tuned next week. We will be joined by Sean Doucette and Kyle Easty. We will be discussing the Walking Dead movies, and we will also be discussing where Spider-Man goes after No Way Home. So I would like to thank Jansen for coming on, and so thank you all for coming and joining us, and just stay safe. appreciate you coming on, buddy.
All right. Thank you, Frank, and see ya.
Don't do drugs, kids.